who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay. Breaking down plays.
Oh boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington, and I'm here tonight with my co-host, Tony Robinson. He's in Texas. I'm in Arizona. Tony, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Hey, this season's coming down to the wire here. We had our division championship, our division games this week. We got the AFC and the NFC championship this Sunday, and we have some really good games. There's been some really good football. Again, you representing the Cleveland Browns. Our teams aren't in it. I'm a Commanders fan. I got Jaden Daniels shirt on. But overall, I always got to remind everybody, Tony, that we're still football fans at the end of the day, right? And we love football, and man, it was some really good games this weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely some good games. I wish a couple of my teams didn't make it that I thought I was going to make it, but it's all good. I mean, I knew that the Buffalo Bills wasn't sustainable, so call that one. But we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, it is what it is. Let's get going, man. The Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots, and the Los Angeles Rams all advanced to the conference championships after a dramatic NFL divisional round this weekend, marked by close finishes, a blowout, and key injuries, player injuries that might really have an impact on the division games. And it just a lot of craziness that's gone on in the NFL this year, especially with all the injuries. As I'm looking now at, some of these games and the way things panned out this year, and I start to see, the injuries has been really crazy. Let's start with this game first. The Buffalo Bills, 30-33 loss at the Denver Broncos, and this game here was an overtime game, and Josh Allen, when I look at this game, Josh Allen definitely took accountability for losing this game for everybody, for his team, and his coach did get fired, after this game, which was even more amazing to me. But uncharacteristic, Josh Allen just didn't have a really good game. They put a lot up on his shoulders. He had 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble in this game. And it's a stark contrast to what he has done in the past in the playoffs. His playoff history, he's had 0 turnovers, 427 snaps, and he didn't have any turnovers at all in his previous, 13 games over the last 5 years. And in this game, I mean, he had 1 crucial fumble at the end of the half that cost him another 3 points at the end with 16 seconds left. And I just thought that it was really a bad coaching decision, period, to even try to go for anything with 16 seconds left. You kneel the ball down, you save the points, but Josh Allen scrambling with the ball with 16 seconds, he got the ball dangling all out like it's a loaf of bread, and then somebody smacked the ball went 10 yards the other way, and then next thing you know, the Broncos who had just scored was in business already, and it was a big significant play in that game, and they went down at halftime 10 points versus 7 points. And so, Tony, looking at this game, what did you see that was really giving Josh Allen a lot of trouble? I mean, because the Denver Broncos, they got a formidable defense, but to commit this many turnovers was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like they were playing solid for a while, because I mean, you got James Cook was getting off. He got 117 yards. Josh Allen has 66 yards, and but I don't know how you throw 2 interceptions when you have the chance to win it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Josh Allen, they played good, but when you say the 2 interceptions is like, it just comes down to taking care of the ball. And I said it on the last podcast that we can't, what he did in that last game is not sustainable. He can't always put the cape on and stuff like that, because with these teams he's going to be playing against moving forward, the Denver Broncos, how their defense plays and stuff like that. And that's what I was trying to allude to, because when you play against better defenses, you can't make any errors. And like he made those two errors right there, and it kind of hurt him, They had a chance to win the game. I mean, Bo Nix, he had, he was pretty much doing all the work on the offensive side from the running back and the quarterback standpoint, because he led the team in rushing, and he only had 29
Crazy.
yards rushing. So RJ Harvey didn't show up for the rushing game and stuff like that, but he had 5 catches for 46. But
Yep.
Knicks did his thing, did what he's supposed to do. But then the unfortunate part is that he got hurt. That's the killer right there for the rest of the season, because
Yeah.
I had them like actually going to the Super Bowl, beating the Patriots and stuff like that. But right now I don't know what's going to happen, because your top quarterback is out, and stuff like that. So
I think it was a shock though. Like it was a shock, I think, when after the
yeah,
game, all of a sudden, because Bo Nix did the interview after the game and everything, about the win, and then all of a sudden, like 30 minutes later, hey, Bo Nix is out for the season, broke his ankle, and everybody was like, "What the hell's going on here?"
well, he was wincing on the sideline, like he was like making the faces and stuff like that towards the end when he was on the sideline, and I was wondering what was wrong with him. They didn't say anything at the time because he didn't go into the blue tent, he didn't go in the back or whatever, because it was at the end of the game. But it was so surprising to see that. I was like, oh man, that's a blow. Like, and then they were talking about bringing. They're thinking about bringing Drew Brees out of retirement. All these people that started coming up and stuff like that. I was like, go get Cam Newton. Shoot, Cam Newton sitting there. He's been working out all this time. He's ready.
Oh no, man.
Go get Cam.
Newton, we don't want to see him out there and get killed. I mean, he was barely throwing the ball good when he was playing like 3 years ago, his last start.
But yeah, all he got to do is manage the game, and he can run the ball. So hey,
man, it's crazy. No, I mean. Well, Jarrett Stidham now gets the nod for not the Cleveland Browns, but for the Denver Broncos. And, we'll see how that's going to turn out. We'll talk about that later on in the show about, what we think, how that's going to work out. But, we also had another game that was a total blowout, which is kind of crazy in itself. And, it was so bad. I don't really want to talk about it that much, but man, Seattle dominated in a 41-6 blowout of the 49ers, a special teams touchdown on the opening kickoff by Shaheed, and a suffocating defense. The 49ers injury woes contributed to their heavy defeat. And I just think that, going into it, nobody really believed that the 49ers could go up into Seattle and really beat them, and maybe catch them off guard a little bit because they had the extra week off. But right out of the gate, when you saw that Shaheed scored that touchdown, I'm saying to myself, "Oh boy, this is not good." And to be honest with you, I thought the Shaheed trade at the trade deadline was one of the most significant trades of all of the NFL, because he's had such a big impact for the Seattle Seahawks. And if they go to the Super Bowl and eventually win it, we're going to look back at that trade and say, "Man, that was one of the best trades at the trade deadline of the season."
Yeah, when he was with New Orleans Saints, he was a burner. Like, he was deep ball threat, doing a lot of different things, getting the ball in reverse and stuff like that. He was a big key. And I don't know if I didn't text you, but I had him in my fantasy football lineup. And at the last minute, I took him out and put Robinson in from San Francisco. I was like, I kicked myself. As soon as he ran that kick, turned back, I was like, oh my God,
man. Don't
you
tell
gotta
me
be kidding me. But like, looking at this game, looking at the stats, Purdy just looks like a game manager out there. He doesn't have speed, I guess you want to say, but he did have Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey only has 16 touches, 11 for 35 for rushing, 5 for 39 receiving. Like, the Seattle Seahawks did what they did the previous game at the end of the season. You can't let that happen. Like,
No.
They took away who, like I think I said on the last podcast, you take him away, everything else falls away.
Yep.
Falls like down to the wayside. So, because Brock Purdy, like Cam Newton said, he's not a game changer. He's just a game manager.
Yes.
As you can see, this 15 for 27, 140 yards. Like, I mean, not taking anything away from the Seattle Seahawks, they have a dominant defense. I feel like they got the Legion of Boom back, and they look.
What they
so
call them,
dominant.
the dark side now?
That's what they call it now.
I think they call them the dark side.
Oh yeah. So yeah, hey,
they got a name now.
Side. The darkness is spreading.
Yo, it's crazy just how good they are on defense. And, when the defense is playing like that, Sam Darnold doesn't have to do much. And it came out that Sam Darnold before the game had like an oblique injury or something like that. I mean, he really didn't need to do anything in this game. He kind of, 100 and maybe 60 yards passing or something like that.
17 passes, yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, he didn't have to do anything. I mean, and so that's going to be an interesting matchup with the Rams. As we start to talk about that game. So we're going to move over to the New England Patriots game. How about that? I mean, the New England Patriots playing, and at the end of the day, I really wasn't surprised about this score necessarily. New England's defense was 5 turnovers, including 4 interceptions by C.J. Stroud to secure the win. That was very surprising to me. He's just been a turnover magnet the whole playoff. 7 total turnovers in 2 games is totally outrageous. And if their defense wasn't one of the top defenses in the NFL, Pittsburgh would have beat them too because of his turnovers. But 28-16, the Patriots get the job done at home. This was definitely a winnable game for the Patriots. For the Texans. But the turnovers, man, you cannot have these types of turnovers the way C.J. Stroud had these turnovers, Tony, and he looked like a deer in the headlights out there. I mean, literally, he didn't know what was going on out there, and the Patriots defense had that pressure on them, and they took away a lot of different things from C.J. Stroud. But what do you think about this particular game?
Man, I felt so bad for C.J. Stroud because he's a Buckeye and stuff like that, and I don't know. I just know that when he plays outside of the dome, it's just so night and day a player he can be. Like he doesn't play that great in the dome, but he plays way better. And I'm just like, every time I see this dude like have games like this, it's like 2 games in a row, and they still had a chance to win the game. That's the hard part. That means the defense is playing really good. It's just he keeps putting the defense back on the field, just like the Browns, how we play. Like we had a top 3 defense, but if the offense can't move, can't score, you keep putting the defense back on the field. And it's like, it's hard. People say, oh, the defense gave up 28 points, but they don't talk about what the offense is doing. And you can't you can't have 4 interceptions like game. Like that's especially when you're trying to go to the AFC Championship game. I don't know what it is. They said that his rookie year, he's still chasing that year because he doesn't have that offensive coordinator.
I think said that.
The offensive coordinator, they don't have the offensive coordinator they had that year, and I don't know if they're going to try to get him back because I think they said he's available now or whatever, but I don't know for sure. But that's the only way C.J. Stroud gets back potentially, because he said he's going to work in the offseason to get back to where he was.
He said that last year.
Yeah. So it's like
he said that last
year. The only way that's going to happen is if you bring back the coach that he had. I mean, that's the only way I could think of. So
yeah. So this brings up our first question of the night. Would you have bent C.J. Stroud at halftime for Davis Mills? And to be honest with you, this wasn't to me a far-fetched question. And actually, man, I probably would have. I mean, because now we've got 6 quarters, right, of data, and these 6 quarters, he hasn't looked well. He hasn't looked good, and these turnovers were just killing your team. There's nothing more frustrating as a defense when you keep going out there and you keep putting your team in a position to win and getting off the field, and then C.J. Stroud just gives the ball right back to the, at some point something has to give, and it, 7 total turnovers in 2 games. Man, he was just a disaster. I felt bad for the young fella because he did have so much promise, but I think I would have taken him out because Davis Mills would have taken care of the ball. I mean, 4 interceptions against the Patriots. I mean, you can't win a game like that, Tony. Now, would you have benched him? Because I think I would have definitely done it. I would have did it, at halftime.
I would have done it at halftime because they were still close. They still had a chance to pull the game out. And all you needed was to be able to move the ball down the field. But when you look at the stats, Woody Marks, 17 yards rushing, Nick Chubb, 14 yards rushing, C.J. Stroud had 11 rushing yards. He had the highest average out of the running game. He averaged 5.5 a carry, and that's bad. Quarterback.
But let me ask you this: Why didn't C.J. Stroud? When that championship game when he was at Ohio State, he was scrambling, making plays, and doing all that. What's wrong with this guy's legs? He's totally athletic. He can get up in the pocket. They weren't even expecting him to run. If he was taking off and making plays with his legs, it would have helped him tremendously in this game.
Well, to me, when he looks really flustered. He looked flustered in the game. Like I don't know because he was worried about getting sacked. I don't know what it is, but for me, I think the new age quarterback needs to be able to get out of the pocket, extend plays, get out of the pocket, because you can't sit there with these guys getting in 2 seconds. Like, there's no way. You have to have a ticker in your head, like, boom, I gotta go, or get out, just roll out, do something. But I don't know if it's the offensive play calling. Like, they should have him rolling out more, doing something else. But they had him in the pocket a lot, and all they
But
was
he's an
doing was
athletic guy. He had pressure coming from the outside. He's an athletic guy. Step up in the pocket, make one move, and gone.
But
He's got 10, 15 yards before he get caught.
They're pushing the pocket too. The D tackles are pushing the pocket, and they're rushing the pocket too. So I don't think he could move up freely, because he was always like, somebody was always around him, and that's what I saw anyway. I don't know if I'm maybe looking at that wrong, but
I really thought that I really thought that he had a lot of opportunity to run the ball, use his legs. We've seen him do it before, and for some reason, we talk about the quarterbacks. We talked about this earlier, and kind of like our pregame lead up to the podcast, and you have to have some type of a little bit of a threat now as a quarterback, right? I mean, even if you just show it a few times and let them know that they have to honor it, right? It's going to give you a little bit more time.
Or just throw the damn ball away. Excuse my language. Like, the thing about it is, he threw balls where he's getting sacked or like getting pressure, and he just throws it up, and you can't do that. Like, they're ball hawking. These guys are ball hawking. Like, you can't do that. You got to get out of the pocket, just get out of the tackle box, and just get the ball out. Like, do something. Don't just throw it up to try to make. I mean, he didn't have his top receiver there, so it's like you can't just throw the ball up to these random dudes and think you're going to get something. But to answer this question, I would have put Davis Mills in, because when Stroud was out of the game, Davis Mills came in and balled out. And he took care of the ball. And like, I think, like, after the games, like, you see CJ Stroud on the side, he was feeling a certain kind of way, like, oh, this dude about to take my spot. And and then they put him back in after that game, and I'm like, come on, man, like, I don't know. But yeah, you definitely got to take him out and put Davis Mills in, because I mean, like you said, 6 straight quarters of, like, shenanigans going on. Like, you got to get this dude
turnovers, just flat out turnovers.
Yeah,
it's total BS. It was all turnovers, and I think you got to put him. You got to get Davis Mills in the game. It's not fair to Davis Mills not to give him an opportunity. It's not fair to the defense. It's not fair to the whole team, because you're trying to show, we're gonna ride or die with this guy, and then have to answer questions after why you benched him and who's going to start the following week. You got to get to the following week first. It's a nice question to have when you win the game and then go into the AFC Championship game potentially and say, all right, well, we can actually, we have a choice. Yeah, Stroud is actually going to play in the AFC Championship game, but you got to get there first. And they didn't give themselves the best opportunity to win by keeping Stroud in the game at that point, because there's no way I would have kept him in the game. So yeah, to answer that question, I think we both
we kind of say that in the last podcast. Like, I was pretty much saying, like, if he has a same game, there's no way they can win. Like, he has to take care of the ball. Like, that's like, after throwing the picks you threw in the previous game, you cannot come back and throw 4 picks in the first quarter, first half. Like,
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, we're gonna move on, but man, it was it was pretty wild. And so so now I would say that the game that we're looking at now is the Rams versus the Chicago Bears. This was probably one of the best games of the week. And we knew it was going to be a doozy. It's like 4 degrees in Chicago. It was frozen. It was snow. It had everything that you wanted to in the game, where you had the Rams held off a late comeback by Caleb Williams. He was trying to get them that win. In overtime with the game-winning field goal after an interception, when all of a sudden Caleb Williams is a 4th down and 13, and he scrambles back 27 yards to the 40-yard line and throws a dime in the corner of the end zone to Cole Kmet in the end zone to tie this game up. And at this point, it was like Caleb Williams does this again. I mean, he's got 7 comeback wins this season, which is an NFL record, by the way, but you can't live off of that. You can live off of that for a certain amount of time, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. And then in overtime, we saw that the Rams went down. They had to punt the ball. And then Chicago now has the chance to win the game without getting Matthew Stafford the ball back. And, he goes back and throws that ball And I don't know if it was a miscommunication somehow, but you got Cam Curl coming up to make the interception. And once they gave that ball back to Matt Stafford said, "You made a big mistake, buddy. You had your chance, and now I'm going to win this game. I'm going to dance with y'all now." And he got it done. So what do you think about this game? This was a very impressive game by both teams. I mean, I didn't know what to say. I think I wanted the Rams to win. All right. But I know you wanted Chicago Bears to win the game.
Yeah, I wanted Chicago Bears to win. I wanted Caleb Williams because I like the Ben Johnson offense and stuff like that. And the only knock I have on him, right, in this game, he played game, but those 3 picks hurt him. Like if he took care of the ball a little better, he just had 1 pick maybe, because he.
Yeah, we're having a little technical difficulties here with Tony. Yeah, little technical difficulties here with Tony.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying, those 3 interceptions from Caleb Williams is the main issue here. But when you look at the Rams, they didn't do a lot to. The only person that was really doing something was Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams had 21 for 87, 2 touchdowns. They did all. I mean, I don't know how the Bears lost. I mean, how they lost the game was the 3 picks. I mean, because if they at least get field goals or score out of those 3 picks, those possessions, like the game would be totally different. I felt like they had a chance to win at home because Puka Nacua, they held Puka Nacua, didn't do that much. He had 5 for 56. He did, that was solid game.
I mean, but he had some timely catches too. Adams had a timely catch too.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It's not like they blew them out. It was just they still were close. Like the Chicago Bears still had it, but those 3 picks is always, we come back to those 3 picks every single time because you got to take care of the ball in the playoffs. If you want to go far, take care of the ball. That's why Seattle Seahawks playing so good. Their defense is good, but then you have the quarterback there just managing the game. He only threw 17 times. You said he was hurt before the game and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You just got to take care of the ball. So.
Yeah, every team this weekend that had that won the plus minus in turnovers won the game, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Matthew Stafford or anybody, they didn't have a turnover. So you give the ball 3 times away, and I think that's going to be a big thing Caleb Williams has to work on during the offseason is just overall with his picks. Let's stay here with this question too. What do you think about the season Caleb Williams had? I mean, obviously, with the comebacks and things of that nature, he had over 4,000 yards. Is the first time I think that Chicago Bear had a 4,000-yard season in their history. Ben Johnson comes in and really ignited that a flame, under that whole team from the offense to the defense. He's changing the culture of the team. You saw Caleb Williams have a different swagger this year, more confidence in his comeback wins. 7 comeback wins was amazing. And then him throwing that ball in the middle in that game to come back in the corner of the end zone to Komet. Obviously, people are saying that it might have been a penalty there by Komet by pushing off on the corner. But to go back 20 some odd yards and then heave a ball up in the corner of the end zone was totally outrageous. But Caleb Williams, this is not a sustainable model to have 7 comeback wins. And I told you earlier, I said the Commanders had a kind of similar season that the Chicago Bears had this year. The only difference is the Commanders went to the NFC Championship game last year, but they had like 5 comeback wins last year. And then you come back to this year, you got a tougher schedule. Those comeback wins might be 50-50, the next season because you're playing a tougher schedule. But to expect him to have 7 comeback wins next season is totally not cool. So how did they not put themselves in that position next season? But I want to talk about, from your perspective, do you think that Caleb Williams have gotten himself in the top 6 or 7 quarterback conversation, or do you still think he's probably somewhere in the top 10?
Yeah, he's definitely top 10. I think he's inching into the top 7. But I feel like if he when I was watching this game with my wife, I told her, I was like, if this dude ran the ball more, he's so fast. Like people don't. I didn't realize how. I didn't realize how fast he was. Like, if he runs the ball more often, it takes more pressure off his passing game because he can like he was running the ball like he ran a 4.340. Like that's what I saw. Like my eyes saw like he was speed, like he was just he one play he ran around and he just darted, and I was like, whoa, this dude's fast. If he runs the ball more next year to go along with the pass, he'll be a top 5 quarterback easily, to me, in my opinion. Because looking at him play in his Ben Johnson offense, Goff didn't have the speed. He didn't run the ball. So that's another wrinkle that Ben Johnson has that he can add to his whole total package of play calling. Like, or just tell him like for me, I would have been like I was telling my wife, I was like, you have to be able to tell your quarterback, like if like at the end of the game where he could have ran the ball more, I was like, if it's there, pass it, but if it's not, you got to go. Like, don't we want you to be the man. Like
They're
you're
gonna
the
put him in a run pass option situation too. I'm not
yeah.
quite sure because nope, I haven't seen anybody catch him from the corner. Every time I seen Caleb Williams hit that corner, nobody catching him. Like
No.
he's 10 yards down the field, first downs, diving for first downs. When he hits the corner, he has another gear, and he's done this all season.
But I feel like he wants to get his teammates involved. I get that, but it's like there's times where you have to. I mean, it's kind of like what Josh Allen does. He kind of goes into his Superman mode, but I think Caleb Williams look a little faster than Josh Allen. Josh Allen's just bigger. He can run people over and stuff like that. But I feel like he has to run the ball more. If he runs the ball more, he's going to be. I might get him in fantasy next year. I had him in fantasy this year. Actually, I picked him because I feel like that Ben Johnson offense was going to propel him into a different stratosphere. But I feel like more time in that Ben Johnson offense, he's going to get better. I mean, he had a okay season this year. He showed you that he can do stuff in the playoffs. But I feel like next year, watch out for him. Watch out for him. He's going to have a tougher schedule, but watch out.
I like the year. I like the year that he had. I mean, he proved a lot of things, not only to himself, I think, but to the NFL that, hey, I'm here, man. I'm worthy of the number 1 pick. And I think, everybody talks about the number 1 pick never lives up to the billing. This year, he showed you. I mean, he got stability now. He's going to add more. I think Ben Johnson starts to continue to add more and throw more at him this year with the offense and keep installing more of the offense. And once he gets more control. But man, if he can add that dynamic running to this offense with Monangai and Swift and those guys out there, maybe a little bit of RPO game. I don't even know RPO, holding that defensive end and throwing that ball. It's going to be really good because he showed that he's durable, right? Yeah. I mean, he's strong lower body. He's about 6'1", 6'2", and he can actually he's a good athlete.
Especially in the cold weather. Like, usually they take the air out of the ball, when it's cold. Like, they usually want to run the ball more. And I feel like this is the game they could have did it. Like, they could have got away with running the ball a little more because the Rams they have a solid defense, but it's not a great defense. They don't have like a Seattle defense. So it's like, I felt like they could have ran the ball a little more. And then maybe the pass would have opened up more. A little play action here. A lot of stuff would have opened up if you'd have just ran the ball. But in hindsight, it's good. It's easy to say this now.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, so we're going to transition a little bit here, and we're going to talk about some coaching vacancies. I mean, geez, coaching vacancies here. I mean, we've got looking at this tracker here. I mean, you got Stefanski, Kevin Stefanski, hired by the Atlanta Falcons. It looks like the Miami Dolphins, they got Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator from the Packers. Robert Saleh, he didn't take him long to get a job. The Titans plucked him right off of the 49ers defensive team there. And then, of course, John Harbaugh is the big one there at the New York Giants. And I think this is very interesting hiring season here. And then when you start to look at the overall from a coaching thing, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. And so Tony, let's start with your guy first, okay? I mean, I don't even know what to say about this. I'm just totally shocked, to be honest with you. And when this came across the board, I said, this is totally outrageous. right? And so I'm going to pose to you the question here as I bring ourselves back on the screen. Um, this was wild altogether. So Tony, Kevin Stefanski gets the job as a head coach with the Falcons. Is this Matt Ryan's first mistake as the president of football operations for the Atlanta Falcons?
Yes. one answer, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Only because I have a little we have a little
You
beef.
got a history.
We have a little beef.
Yeah.
Not personally. Like, I don't know Kevin Stefanski. I never talked to him in my life, but I just feel like he hasn't done anything for the Browns. I mean, not saying. I mean, people gonna say, "Oh, the Browns is the Browns, whatever." But when you look at it, what has he shown you? Like there's coaches that did way better than him, like Flores when he was in Miami. He did way better than Stefanski when he was there. He got fired, and this dude did coach like trash. I mean, he recruited the players, he drafted the players, he brought players in and stuff like that. There's speculation out there about the leadership and stuff like that, but he ultimately coach of the year 2 times. That was great. But what the other 4 years, what did he do? Nothing. He didn't make anybody better. No quarterbacks got better. When he was in Minnesota, Cam broke it down. Cam Newton said every job that he was in the Minnesota organization, he didn't make anybody better. He was only in there for a short period of time, and all of a sudden he's a guru at being an offensive coordinator. It's trash. He can't. I mean, he had a couple good years, like I said, but we had Chubb then. We had other pieces in place that was doing really, really well. But to answer this question, it's a big mistake because he hasn't proven himself lately. Like, what have you done for me lately? I feel like he's gonna set this team back because they were kind of moving in the right direction.
I mean, they were good towards the end of the season. I mean, the Falcons were a tough out.
Yeah, they have a solid squad right now. So it's like I just hope he doesn't go down there and just make them, because he's gonna implement his play style, and I don't know if that fits. But when you have the only thing I can say that the reason why they hired him was because of Kirk Cousins. They're trying to relive that Minnesota Vikings years where he played really well, coached very well with Kirk Cousins, stuff like that. That's the only reason why I feel like they took him. And it's a smart move when you think about it that way. Right. I could see, all like our negativity of aside from the Browns and stuff like that. That's the only reason why I feel like he got picked up there. But when you got like a Tomlin out there, you got all these guys out there, and you got now the Buffalo coaches now available. It's like, come on, man, like y'all took him too early. Like y'all had time. So so it's kind of tough.
Now, what do you think about now? Who do you think that's out there that is left for the Browns? I mean, obviously, I wanted to say, talk a little bit about the Browns also. So who do you think is out there now that's going to be left for the Cleveland Browns out there? And then what's on your wish list for the Cleveland Browns?
Well, I just saw that Mike McDaniel took his name out of the running for the second interview. So
he did. Yeah,
with that,
right here,
I kind of wanted him because of his play style is kind of similar to the coach in the 49ers. So they have a similar like West Coast offense play style, and I feel like he can do some things with our offense. Even if he just comes in as an offensive coordinator, and have.
But just think about this. McDaniel informed the Browns that he was withdrawing from their head coaching search ahead of the scheduled in-person interview for Wednesday, which is tomorrow. And he's still a candidate for the Ravens and the Raiders vacancies too. Maybe interviewing for the Chargers offensive coordinator job today, actually too. And this is via Palacero. Now, my question is, did he just say to himself, like, the Browns are just so bad, or you guys have an expectation for me to take one of you guys as quarterback, and this is one of the reasons why he said no? Because right now it seems like people aren't like running towards the Browns to get this head coaching job.
Well, I think that he just doesn't like the cold weather too. I mean, he did coach with us, with the Miami coming up north to the cold. Like, that's the stigma with the Miami Dolphins and that team. But it could be it could be that. It could be, people don't want to come to Cleveland. I mean,
It's a
It's just, I
snub.
mean, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I feel like who I want to get potentially, but I know he probably want to just go to commentate. I want Tomlin because Tomlin can actually change because he's not afraid of coaching. And I feel like if we're gonna move, if we're gonna like get Shador better, get Watson, have Watson in, I feel like he can get in there like and change their mindsets and like do what he did in Pittsburgh, and then stay in a conference, stay in a division, and go against Pittsburgh Steelers twice a year. I mean, I said the same thing about Harbaugh, but he wanted too much. He wanted 2010, and then he wanted to pick his own GM. So 20 million is what I'm saying. 10 million for his defense, his whole
Do you
staff.
think the Cleveland Browns are trying to shove one of the three quarterbacks that's currently on the roster down the new coach's throat? Or do you think that they're going to give this new coach an opportunity to pick his own guy and bring his own guy in?
Well, I think it's going to have to happen this way because of the contracts we have. We have to have, minimal contracts at the quarterback spot because of Watson's contract. There's no way we can trade him or get rid of him. We still going to have a cap hit, So maybe moving forward, yeah, but as of right now, we have to stick with this because we have one more year with Watson. So that's the only reason why I feel like it's still kind of enticing for them to come because if they decide they don't want to go with Shador, which I don't understand why not. If you know how to coach and what we need is a coach that can actually make a quarterback better. We haven't had a developmental coach that can develop a quarterback or wants to develop. And I feel like
Joshua just made a
Tomlin,
comment. Joshua just made a
Tomlin is
comment
like
too
that.
about that.
Tomlin is like that. Tomlin is that kind of coach. He's not afraid of coaching. He said it himself. He doesn't like coaches that run away from coaching. So, and I feel like Tomlin is the perfect person to come to Cleveland and to turn this thing around. Makes too many. Well, Brian Flores. I like Brian Flores. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the team, the defensive players right now, don't want to go away from our Schwartz now. They like him as our coach, as defensive coordinator. And I mean, they said there were back in the day, there's some teams that had a defensive coordinator as the head coach, and then they had a defensive coordinator calling the plays. But I feel like Schwartz would be the head coach because he's already there. They would give him the opportunity before Flores, I believe, because I mean of his tenure with the Cleveland Browns. But I don't know.
Yeah, your followers are chiming in heavy now. I don't know. But then you got, I'm just gonna throw him on here. Shador's this whatever, and they think that he needs a lot of people, talent around him to be successful. So I mean, this is coming from
with
your fan base.
any quarterback, you need talent. Like you can say that about any quarterback. Like when you have a Shador that didn't get time until like towards the end of the season, he didn't get time with the ones. I mean, no quarterback does really, but the timing when he came in, he still had more wins than Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco. So for people to like to say he's trash is like in a bum, he hasn't had a full offseason to work through the offense. There's a lot of stuff that he hasn't gotten yet. He didn't even get the top three defense that Dylan Gabriel and Flacco had. He got a shell of itself because I mean he got it when we were already losing, so they were already packing it in. Like the defense was packed, like the whole team was, I feel like, was packing it in. So they were like, they just trying to like lose. They weren't trying to win. Like they started tanking once he started being a QB1. So.
Yeah, we did talk about Sean McDermott getting fired too, right? We didn't forget about that. We did mention it, but here it goes. He was fired after the game. I mean, this guy, had a hell of a career if you start looking at really the winning that he had in Buffalo and changed that whole culture. That team there had getting beaten over the head for 2 decades with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, and he comes in and he changes the culture. But he just didn't win, right? When he got into the playoffs, he's a defensive guy. He kept giving up 30 points a game in his playoff losses over his tenure there. And now we start to really look at the map here of these coaches that's got availability here. Where do you see Sean McDermott ending up at I would like to see him in with the Cardinals. I would like to see
Mhm.
Sean McDermott with the Cardinals. But man,
I'm gonna tell you where you're gonna go.
they got a lot. I mean, I can see him in Steeler land, right? I can see him with the Steelers because they like longevity, right? And he does provide that stability and longevity. I can see him in Baltimore too.
Yep.
But man, I would like to
Yep.
see him in Arizona.
That's the place I feel like he fits better because I'm sure that when it comes to the playoffs, every time Lamar Jackson plays against your boy
Mm.
Josh Allen, what happens?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think the big, you know, I don't want to, it's a finger. The big finger is Baltimore. He goes to Baltimore to have Lamar Jackson as his quarterback.
Man,
Because he has another running quarterback. It seemed like he likes running quarterbacks, and he's gonna get
really good fit, I think. I mean,
yeah.
that it seems like he fits the culture either in Pittsburgh or Baltimore because they like both of those coaches, both of those teams have longevity in their coaching staff. And I think McDermott is he spent what 9 years in Buffalo, and I
Yeah.
think that one of those teams might get McDermott.
He'll have to find his quarterback in Pittsburgh because he won't have Rodgers anymore. So he'll have to draft a quarterback or get one in a free agency. Um, yeah, I don't know. That'll be tough.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, we're gonna start looking at the AFC title game first, and the AFC title game, the Patriots at the Broncos, and you know, man, so the Denver Broncos will host the New England Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and the Seattle Seahawks will host the Los Angeles Rams in the NFC Championship game this Sunday. The Patriots game is on first at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS, and Patriots at the Broncos, and that this game is going to be really intriguing, especially with the Bo Nix injury. Um, you know, you've got Jared Stidham coming in for Bo Nix. He's 1-3 as a starter, and ironically, he was drafted by the New England Patriots, right? So Jared Stidham was drafted by New England Patriots. He went over to play with the Raiders, and then nobody really knew where he landed, but he's been with the Broncos for like 3 seasons. He's been with the Broncos for like 2 or 3 seasons now, and so he knows that offense. And Sean Payton came out and said during the press conference that he thinks that Stidham couldn't be a starting quarterback in the league, and he's been in
Mhm.
Sean Payton's system. And so you wonder, um, is it going to be a drop off with him and Bo Nix? Because now you've got an experienced guy that now he can go out there and play free because this is all or nothing for him. And if he plays within Sean Payton's system, a championship coach, he plays within the system and the defense plays sound. I just kind of a little worried about him though because he's not used to the speed of the game with those Patriots pass rushers coming at him. So I gotta say to you, who do you see winning this game? The Patriots at the Broncos for a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
It's tough now, because of
Yeah.
that Bo Nix injury. I had the Broncos going, but when you take out your top quarterback, they played pretty solid in that last game. He played really well, and I was surprised because but I got to go with the Patriots now because of the consistency at quarterback.
I mean, is this a
Sti-
Nick Foles situation where with the Eagles he comes in and plays very
well,
well
no,
and gets them to the
what,
Super
what
Bowl
what
in
I
his
what
career?
I think is it could be because they have the pieces in place. All he has to do is manage the game and don't turn the ball over. If he can, and then they got to get their running game going because the running game didn't do so well the last game. So I feel like if the running game gets going, you get Harvey going, and like you got to have like a three-headed monster going, like something because what Patriots going to do? They're going to take something away, and what that is probably going to be the running game and force Stidham to pass the ball. But I feel like Stidham can pass the ball. You got to be careful with him because he can, do like a Foles in there and come out and hit you for 400 and 3 touchdowns quick.
Ooh, wow.
I mean,
Oh,
but at the same time, you don't know because I mean, I don't know if he runs the ball that well. If he runs the ball, that changes everything too. So, but to answer your question, I feel like the Patriots got the game.
Well, I mean, I
I think the
think
Patriots are
that
back.
man, it's so tough now because you're right. I mean, we just don't know. We haven't seen enough of Stidham to see whether or not he's capable. But if he doesn't turn the ball over, that's a lot to say, right? If he doesn't turn the ball over, he has a chance to win. But happy feet in that pocket and not used to seeing live fire, right? He hasn't seen live fire, and I don't know how if he goes against the defense at all from the Broncos because that's live fire. But man, I think the Patriots are going to have a hard time with the defense of the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
I think the Denver Broncos is going to give the Patriots hell on defense.
Yeah, I got two things. I feel like Stidham, I feel like he's going to be coached up properly. So that's the only thing I know. I know he's going to be coached up properly. As long as he listens to the coach, he'll do fine. But also when you said about the defense of the Patriots going to have trouble, or you
Denver.
said Denver's
I
going to
said
have
the
trouble with
Patriots
it.
offense is going to have trouble with Denver's defense.
Yeah. But if they run the ball like they should, the run game was actually working for
The Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills. So
Yeah.
he got over 100 yards rushing. Cook, if they run the ball, that's going to be the key for the Patriots, because the passing game they have like a no fly zone pretty much. So you got to have the quarterback running the ball too.
You got to account for Drake May because he can take off, right?
Drake May can take off. Drake may take off. You got Henderson and other guy. Like, come on, man. Like the running game, if they use the running game, this lights out, because that's what I think anyway.
So, I mean, you picked the Patriots. I'm going to go with the Broncos. I think they're at home. They're in higher elevation, right? Higher elevation, crowd's going to be crazy. And now you get the Patriots outside of their element, right? The Patriots have had the luxury of being at home, for a couple of weeks. Now they got to go on the road and play the number one seed. We got to remember that the Broncos are the number one seed. And quarterback is going to be a question mark. But man, that might be the difference in the game. But I'm going to go with the Broncos, and this could be an overtime game. This could be down to the wire type of game where the Patriots might have the ball last or the Broncos might have the ball last. But if the Broncos can get a couple of turnovers out of Drake May and force them into a couple of turnovers, get the Broncos a couple of more extra possessions to help Stidham out, then I think they might have a chance to win this game. But this game, boy, is so hard to call right now. I don't even know what to say about it. It's just going to be crazy. And so, we're looking at the transitioning over to the NFC game. I mean, looking at this game, I mean, you've got the Rams at the Seahawks. It's a 4:30 game on Fox right after the Patriots game. And this game is just going to be wild, right? You got two teams that's played each other. It's been a third meeting this year, and they've split. Okay, they've split, and their injuries is not really going to be a problem. Although Charbonnet is out for the season, but they have Kenneth Walker that's going to probably have to be the bell cow for them, and he can be the bell cow for them, right? But I thought that was a big loss when I saw that Charbonnet had a significant knee injury in this game for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, because boy, man, that kid runs hard. Every time he gets the ball, man, he's getting 5-6 yards a carry, breaking tackles and everything too. I think that's a big loss for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, because in this day and age in NFL, you got to have a two-headed monster, three-headed monster. You got to have multiple running backs. But I do feel like Kenneth Walker can do the thing, but I feel like they need to do some dump off plays to him, not just run him all the time. That's how they kind of they have to mix it up, because Charbonnet was that, he can catch the ball out of the backfield too. So Kenneth Walker has to do a little bit of both now. And I feel like they'll have another. They may have to have Shaheed coming around in some reverse, like some handoff. If you break Shaheed with that speed, like push
he's
going to have to. I think
he's going to have to play a little bit of a bigger role, right? I think he's going to have to play a little bit of a bigger role, and maybe in third down situations and things of that nature.
It's almost like the Debo Samuel when he was in with the 49ers. Yep. Running the ball out of the backfield, because he has a speed, like, it's a change of pace, like so.
But
All hands on deck.
it seems like the Rams they kind of make plays when they have to, right? And also if this game is very close, you got to look at Matthew Stafford situation too, where I mean this guy's experienced, he's got comeback win after comeback win. He's cool, calm, and collective. He's got Puka, he's got a lot of the tight ends over there. He's gonna have to run the ball to keep the Seattle Seahawks honest. But this could be an overtime game too, by the way. I think that this game could actually go in overtime.
Stafford
You're
ain't
thinking
running the
about that
ball.
12th man too in Seattle.
Stafford ain't running the ball like that.
No, I'm talking about they got to run the ball, not Stafford running the ball. I'm talking about
okay.
they have to run the ball with their with their guys that they got. But it seems like if they get pass happy, I'm not quite sure you can get real pass happy against the Seattle Seahawks because now they start sitting on them routes. And then they start picking the ball up.
Well, they getting that pass rush in, and Stafford is a pocket passer. So, I mean, but he's smart, though. He can get the ball out quick.
I mean, the Bears was getting to him, too. The Bears was getting to Stafford, too.
Yeah.
They were bringing some heat against Stafford.
So just think about that. Seattle's defense is better than the Chicago defense. So they're going to get in faster.
I mean, but it wasn't negative. It wasn't negative 4 degrees and 20-mile-an-hour winds either. So, they're not going to probably have that in Seattle. So it's going to be a better environment necessarily from a weather perspective. I think that the Rams could probably deal with it a little bit better. I mean, but everybody's talking about the Rams. They were playing in the weather and they weren't a cold weather team. It's 80 degrees in LA. They out there doing walkthroughs before they went to play the Bears. And now they got to go to Seattle. I'm not sure if it's going to be rainy. I didn't even look at the weather report for Sunday's game, but I'm not even quite sure what is the point spread in that game. But I don't want to snooze on the Rams. It's something about the Rams for some reason that I really like. And can Sam Darnold, if he has to take over a game, can he? And that is what my concern. Who do you trust more, Sam Darnold or Matthew Stafford? And can Sam Darnold take over a game and get his team into the championship?
The point spread is plus 2 to the Rams, so they have the Seahawks winning. It's still it's like a pick 'em almost.
It's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, so that's a pick 'em to me. But to answer your question, I trust the Seahawks defense more. It's not even going to be on the quarterbacks. I feel like the defense both sides of the defense is going to tell the tale. You got a defense playing at home with a 12th man, that loud crowd. When I was there when the Browns played them, I tell you, it was loud. They make sure they yell, do everything they can so that cadence is thrown off and like whatever. But Stafford,
Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. I mean,
Sean McVay ain't on the field, so that's the thing.
No. But I'm talking about he's one of the best offensive minds that we've seen in the last 7 or 8 years in the NFL. I mean, the guy's got a championship, a Super Bowl. Good young talent. I mean,
and it's their third time playing them too, so it's like it's a divisional game still, so they know each other. So we'll see. I feel like that the Seattle's defense is going to take over this game.
I think the Seattle's defense is probably going to take over, but man, I still want. I think I'm going with the Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams in this game.
Right.
I would love to see the Rams and the Broncos. I'm going to go on record. Rams and Broncos win. They go to the Super Bowl. They've say what you want to say. The Rams have been one of the top 6 teams in the NFL all season. I think that the West division has been kind of crazy, and they've been one of the top teams all season, right there. Up at the top and kind of going up and back and forth.
Well, this is the best of 3, and when it counts,
when it counts,
Seahawks is going to take over because they're at home. To me, that's what I feel.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for this week's games, and it would be crazy for us not to talk about the game from last night, where the Indiana Hoosiers are the national champions of college football, and they had one of the worst records in the history of college football a couple of years ago. And now they're on top of the world. They go down to Miami and beat Miami. When you look at this game last night, I'm sure people stayed up and watched that one. You see Mendoza. I mean, he came in and he had a run, a scramble that got in the end zone and won the game. And then on the other side, they got a pick at the end to solidify themselves as a national championship. And remember, everybody's going to say, well, um, they didn't have any top recruits, right? There no top recruits. Who they beat? They beat Ohio State. They beat Alabama, Ohio. They beat Alabama, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oregon. And all these teams got millions and millions and millions of more dollars to spend to get these players with the NIL. And then you've got, basically secondary players coming in, transfers, older players that nobody really wanted going into Indiana, and to see the coaching job that was done there in Indiana, and for them to go 16-0. I mean, this is the first time a team have went like 16-0 since 1892. Yale did this in 1892. It was some crazy thing, right? 100 plus years, the first time that this ever been done. And I think that this movie, whenever this movie comes out, right, these guys are going to be like the band of brothers for life, to win this championship for Indiana. It's just magnificent to see. I think it's probably one of the best things that's ever happened in sports.
Yeah. Out of 127 seasons of the Indiana Hoosiers, their record 509 and 692 and 38. 38 ties in 127 years. So getting their first national championship, 16-0 season, is a great feat, especially in the Big Ten, where we have all these dogs at the last three seasons. The Big Ten has been dominating the national championship. No SEC schools, no Alabama anymore. Kick rocks. The NIL changed all this stuff. Now y'all can't. Yeah. Now we the big brothers. Big Ten.
I mean, the SEC is now, the Big Ten, right, has won the last 3 national championships.
Yeah.
Right. So now, can you really say that they're now the big dogs instead of the SEC? Because the SEC was kind of like the team that, the division that everybody was saying that, was the number one. I think now, the Big Ten has kind of overtaken them.
Yeah. Saban's not there to save you anymore.
Yeah.
Saban ain't there no more. So you can't keep hanging your hat on the Alabamas and all that stuff. So, but I will say, be on the lookout for LSU now. They got the money back. They got the money. They got the coach now. They might be back, but I still think Big Ten got it though.
So Big Ten, I think is still gonna do what they do. But yeah, I was totally impressed with what happened last night. Miami. It just seemed to me that game was like I didn't think Miami was as close as they were. It didn't feel to me like Miami was like coming on. It felt like Indiana still controlled that game, most of the game. And then at the end, Miami got the ball. They need a touchdown. And boy, they're in a position, Beck, can they kick this guy out of college? I mean, Beck has to be just as old as Josh Allen. Get this guy out.
I want to say something about that, right?
Yep.
So you see who got the Heisman Trophy, right?
Yep.
I'm sure Mendoza's not making $4 million a year.
Nope.
Stealing money. Like the dude I follow on TikTok, he says stealing money. He talks about Beck the whole season. He was talking about Beck.
Yep.
When you look, the eyeball test don't lie. Like this dude was playing like Dylan Gabriel for the Browns. He was just he just does a dink and dunk. Everything's short, and then those speedy guys, the number 10, the Tyreek Hill on 18, I forgot his name. And then the running back. That's all they had. Or like Beck would like get lucky and like break around and like extend the play a little bit. Then he'll find somebody else because the DBs can't, like we talked about this earlier, like DBs can't, it's hard to keep up with them, as they're moving around and stuff like that. Somebody's going to come open. But when you look at the game, he's not, to me, he's not worth $4 million a year in the NIL money. And they gave like a Lambo or whatever it was and all this stuff. Like for me, when you look at the game, he's not that guy, and he's stealing money because he know that he may not get an opportunity at the NFL level. Because I mean, getting $4 million from Miami, that's huge. I mean,
that's crazy
at the end of the day. But I know
Yeah.
we might to cut it off now, but
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for watching us here. This has been the Chasing the Highlights podcast with Lonnie Washington. I'm in Arizona. My co-host is Tony Robinson. Tony, hey, man, it's been great with you. It's been a great season. We still got one more, coming up after this in a couple of weeks. So, hey, man, everybody, thanks for watching. Good night. We out. Peace.
Come alive, two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, uniting with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. Chasing the highlights, where dreams come alive. Two ex-players in the studio, ready to thrive. Friends and fans, united with the truth, sharing the passion, yeah, that's our proof. We treasure the legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay.